The obsidian throne room of the Krill Imperium pulsed with a nervous energy. Ornate spires of black crystal, reaching towards a vaulted ceiling lost in shadow, amplified the susurrus of 1,000 nervous whispers. Beneath, the High Council of Krill, its members adorned in shimmering carapace armor, shifted in their seats, the clicking of their mandibles a counterpoint to the thrumming of the planetary shield generators. Fear, a sensation rarely admitted within these hallowed halls, hung heavy in the air. The source of their unease, humanity. For cycles, the Krill had observed humanity's relentless expansion, their reckless exploration of the void, their unsettling silence regarding established galactic protocols. They had dismissed them as primitive, a species barely out of their infancy, a minor blip on the cosmic radar. Now that blip had become a deafening roar. A single human vessel, designated only as Warship 17, had breached Krill space, bypassing countless defense platforms and leaving a trail of deactivated Sentinel drones in its wake. It hung now, silent and ominous, above Krill Prime, a stark testament to the Krill's underestimation. "It is an act of aggression," hissed Counselor Xyler, her voice sharp and brittle. "They have violated our sovereign space. We must respond with overwhelming force." Grand Strategist Valerius, his exoskeleton scarred from countless campaigns, countered, "Patience, Xyler. Hasty action could provoke unforeseen consequences. We know little of their capabilities, their motives. Observation, analysis, these are the weapons of true strategy." "Observation has yielded nothing," Xyler snapped back, her multifaceted eyes flashing with agitation. "They have refused all communication attempts. Their vessel remains unresponsive. What more do you need, Valerius? Do you wait for them to bombard Krill Prime before you deem them a threat?" The chamber fell silent, the only sound the rhythmic hum of the life support systems. The Krill were a species of calculated pragmatism, their every action dictated by logic and strategy. Yet humanity defied their understanding. Their reckless curiosity, their unwavering self-assurance, their impenetrable silence, it was all unnerving. The Krill prided themselves on their ability to predict, to anticipate, to control. Humanity was an anomaly, a variable they could not quantify, a challenge to their dominance. The High Chancellor, a being of immense age and wisdom, finally broke the silence. "We will not resort to violence," he declared, his voice resonating with authority. "Not yet. We will attempt communication once more. Counselor Lyra, you are fluent in xenolinguistics. Initiate contact. Offer them safe passage and audience with the High Council. Discover their intentions. And," he added, his voice hardening, "prepare the defense fleet. Should negotiations fail, we will be ready." Lyra, a young counselor known for her diplomatic skills, nodded solemnly. She activated the communications array, her mandibles trembling slightly as she addressed the silent vessel above Krill Prime. "Human vessel, this is Counselor Lyra of the Krill Imperium. You have entered Krill space without authorization. State your purpose. We offer safe passage and an audience with the High Council. Respond." Silence. Lyra repeated her message, her voice steady despite the growing unease within the chamber. Still no response. Hours stretched into an agonizing eternity. The Krill watched, waited, and speculated, their fear slowly morphing into a grudging respect. A species that dared to defy the Krill Imperium, that possessed the audacity to ignore their commands, was either incredibly foolish or incredibly powerful. The Krill desperately hoped it was the former. Then a signal, a weak, distorted signal barely audible amidst the static of the void. Lyra amplified it, her heart pounding in her chest. A voice, calm and measured, echoed through the obsidian throne room. "This is Captain Eva Restover of the human exploration vessel Daedalus. We acknowledge your communication. We have observed the Krill Imperium for some time. We seek not conquest, but knowledge. We request permission to land." A collective gasp swept through the High Council. Exploration? Knowledge? These were not the motivations they had anticipated. They had prepared for war, for invasion, for a struggle for dominance. But exploration, it was disconcerting. "They claim to seek knowledge," Counselor Xyler said, her voice laced with suspicion. "This is a ruse. They are gathering intelligence, probing our defenses. We must not allow them to land." "But if they are telling the truth," Lyra countered, "imagine the potential for collaboration, for exchange of information. Humanity possesses technologies we have never encountered. Think of the benefits for the Imperium." The High Chancellor pondered this, his multifaceted eyes narrowing. The risk was immense, but the potential reward was even greater. The Krill Imperium, despite its power and vastness, had stagnated in recent cycles. New technologies, new ideas were desperately needed to maintain their position in the galaxy. "We will allow them to land," the High Chancellor declared. "But under strict supervision, they will be confined to a designated research facility. Their every move will be monitored. And," he added, his gaze hardening, "should they betray our trust, we will not hesitate to eliminate them." Captain Rostova accepted the terms, her voice betraying no emotion. The human vessel Daedalus descended towards Krill Prime, its sleek silver hull reflecting the harsh light of the Krill sun. As it landed within the designated facility, a wave of anticipation and apprehension washed over the Krill Imperium. The fate of their empire, perhaps even the galaxy, rested on the shoulders of these enigmatic newcomers. The first encounter was awkward. The Krill, accustomed to their rigid social hierarchy and formal protocols, struggled to comprehend the casual demeanor of the human crew. Rostova, tall and athletic, with a disarming smile, seemed utterly unfazed by the grandeur of the Krill facilities or the imposing presence of the High Council representatives. "Welcome to Krill Prime, Captain Rostova," Lyra said, struggling to maintain a formal tone. "We trust your journey was satisfactory." "Pleasant enough," Rostova replied, her eyes scanning the research facility with detached curiosity. "Your security protocols are quite impressive, efficient but perhaps a bit predictable." Lyra bristled at the subtle jab. "Predictability ensures security, Captain. We prefer to minimize risk." "And maximize stagnation," Rostova countered, her smile widening. "Risk is the catalyst for innovation. Without it, you simply become complacent." The two species spent weeks in cautious observation of each other. The Krill were fascinated by humanity's insatiable curiosity, their relentless pursuit of knowledge. They marveled at their advanced technologies, their mastery of energy manipulation, their understanding of the fundamental laws of the universe. But they were also disturbed by their apparent lack of discipline, their disregard for tradition, their unsettlingly individualistic nature. The humans, in turn, were intrigued by the Krill's intricate social structure, their unwavering dedication to logic, their impressive architectural achievements. They admired their efficiency, their order, their commitment to the collective good. But they were also troubled by their rigid conformity, their suppression of individuality, their apparent fear of the unknown. One evening, as Rostova and Lyra were reviewing data collected from a newly discovered nebula, Rostova paused, her brow furrowed in concentration. "There's something strange about this nebula," she said, pointing to a section of the data stream. "An unusual energy signature. It's rhythmic, almost like a signal." Lyra examined the data, her multifaceted eyes narrowing. "I detect nothing unusual, Captain. It is simply background radiation." "I assure you, Counselor, it is not," Rostova insisted. "I've encountered similar signatures before. They are often associated with anomalous phenomena." Lyra hesitated. She trusted Rostova's scientific expertise, but she was also wary of her tendency to see patterns where none existed. "We will investigate further," she said cautiously. "But I must caution you, Captain, the Krill Imperium does not tolerate unfounded speculation." Rostova merely smiled. "Of course, Counselor, of course." The investigation into the nebula revealed nothing concrete. The Krill scientists dismissed Rostova's claims as fanciful, the product of an overactive imagination. But Rostova refused to be deterred. She continued to analyze the data, searching for clues, driven by an unwavering conviction that something extraordinary lay hidden within the swirling clouds of gas and dust. Weeks turned into months. The relationship between humanity and the Krill remained strained, a fragile balance between curiosity and suspicion. Then one day, Rostova made a breakthrough. She discovered a hidden layer within the data stream, a complex algorithm that had been deliberately concealed from casual observation. When she decrypted it, she found a message. An ancient message, encoded in a language no one recognized. "This is it, Counselor," Rostova said, her voice trembling with excitement. "This is the source of the signal. Someone or something is trying to communicate with us." Lyra examined the message, her mandibles clicking in disbelief. "This is impossible," she said. "This language, it predates all known galactic civilizations. It is older than the stars themselves." "I believe it," Rostova replied, "and I think I know what it means." Rostova spent days deciphering the message, painstakingly translating the alien symbols into a language the Krill could understand. As she pieced together the fragments of information, a chilling picture began to emerge. The message spoke of a great cosmic threat, a force of unimaginable power that had consumed countless civilizations across the galaxy. It warned of its imminent return and urged those who received the message to prepare for the coming darkness. The High Council was stunned. They dismissed the message as a hoax, a fabrication designed to destabilize the Imperium. But Rostova remained adamant. She presented her evidence, her logic irrefutable, her conviction unwavering. Slowly, reluctantly, the Krill began to listen. They examined the data, reviewed the translations, and consulted with their own experts. And they realized with growing horror that Rostova was right. The message was genuine, the threat was real, and it was coming. The Krill Imperium, for the first time in its long and illustrious history, was faced with a challenge it could not overcome alone. They needed allies, they needed knowledge, they needed strength, and they turned to humanity. Rostova, in turn, contacted Earth. She explained the situation to her superiors, laying out the evidence, outlining the threat, and proposing a plan of action. The response from Earth was swift and decisive. Humanity would stand with the Krill. They would share their knowledge, their technology, and their unwavering spirit of innovation. Together, they would face the coming darkness. The alliance between humanity and the Krill was forged in the crucible of fear, a testament to the power of unity in the face of overwhelming adversity. They pooled their resources, combining their scientific expertise, their military might, and their cultural perspectives. They developed new technologies, strengthened their defenses, and prepared for the inevitable confrontation. As the darkness drew closer, the Krill and the humans grew closer as well. They learned to trust each other, to respect each other, to appreciate each other's strengths and weaknesses. They discovered that despite their differences, they shared a common goal, the survival of their civilizations. The first wave of the cosmic threat struck without warning. A swarm of dark energy swept across the galaxy, consuming planets, stars, and even entire star systems. The Krill Imperium and humanity stood as one, their combined forces battling valiantly against the relentless onslaught. The fighting was brutal, the losses staggering. But the Krill and the humans refused to yield. They fought with courage, with determination, and with a sense of hope that defied the overwhelming odds. Rostova, leading the charge, inspired her fellow soldiers with her unwavering optimism and her unshakable belief in the power of humanity. The battle raged for cycles, pushing both civilizations to the brink of destruction. Just as hope seemed to be fading, Rostova and her team discovered a weakness in the enemy's defenses. A subtle vulnerability in their energy matrix, a flaw that could be exploited to devastating effect. Rostova devised a daring plan, a risky maneuver that could turn the tide of the war. She assembled a team of the most skilled pilots and engineers from both the Krill and human forces and launched a desperate assault on the enemy's central command structure. The mission was fraught with danger. Rostova and her team faced overwhelming opposition, battling through hordes of enemy fighters and dodging deadly energy blasts. But they pressed on, driven by a determination to save their civilizations. Finally, they reached their target. Rostova, using her expertise in energy manipulation, managed to exploit the weakness in the enemy's defenses. She unleashed a powerful energy pulse that disrupted their control network, causing the swarm to collapse in on itself. The cosmic threat was defeated. The Krill Imperium and humanity had survived, but the victory came at a heavy price. Countless lives were lost, entire worlds were scarred, and the galaxy was forever changed. In the aftermath of the war, the Krill and the humans embarked on a mission of rebuilding and recovery. They shared their technologies, their resources, and their experiences, working together to heal the wounds of the conflict. As they rebuilt, they also looked to the future. They established a new galactic alliance, a coalition of diverse civilizations united by a common goal, to protect the galaxy from future threats. They explored new frontiers, discovered new resources, and expanded their understanding of the universe. And then they found it, a signal, an ancient signal originating from the very edge of the galaxy. A signal that predated even the cosmic threat they had just defeated. A signal that hinted at something far greater, far more profound than anything they had ever encountered. The signal led them to a massive, abandoned megastructure, a colossal artifact of unimaginable scale. The structure was unlike anything they had ever seen, a testament to the power and ingenuity of a long-lost civilization. As they explored the megastructure, they discovered a message from beyond, a message from the creators of the universe. A message that revealed the true nature of reality, the secrets of existence, and the ultimate destiny of all sentient beings. The message spoke of a cosmic cycle, a recurring pattern of creation and destruction that had shaped the galaxy for eons. It revealed that the cosmic threat they had just defeated was merely a symptom of a larger, more fundamental imbalance in the universe. The message urged them to break the cycle, to transcend the limitations of their physical existence, and to ascend to a higher plane of consciousness. It offered them a path to enlightenment, a journey of self-discovery that would lead them to a new understanding of themselves and the universe. The Krill and the humans, inspired by the message, embarked on this journey together. They delved into the mysteries of consciousness, exploring the depths of their own minds and the vastness of the cosmic mind. They discovered new dimensions of reality, new levels of awareness, and new powers of perception. As they ascended, they left behind their physical limitations, their cultural biases, and their fears. They became something more than krill, more than human. They became beings of pure energy, capable of manipulating reality itself. They used their newfound powers to heal the wounds of the galaxy, to restore balance to the universe, and to guide other civilizations on the path to enlightenment. They became guardians of the cosmos, protectors of all sentient beings, and stewards of the infinite potential of the universe. And so, the Krill Imperium and humanity, once adversaries, became the saviors of the galaxy, the architects of a new era of peace, prosperity, and enlightenment. Their first contact, initially marked by fear and misunderstanding, ultimately led to a unity that transcended all differences, a unity that transformed them into something greater than they could have ever imagined. But the true twist came when, analyzing the megastructure's data, they uncovered logs from the ancient civilization. The logs detailed how eons ago that civilization had also faced a cosmic threat, a dark energy swarm. Their solution wasn't to fight it, but to manipulate the very fabric of space-time, creating pocket dimensions and hiding entire galaxies within them, a cosmic game of hide-and-seek. The location of these hidden galaxies was encoded, and the code was human DNA. Every single strand, every individual human held a piece of the map. The Daedalus was not merely an exploration vessel, it was a key, designed to unlock the hiding places of entire lost galaxies. Humanity's expansion, their reckless curiosity, was in fact guided by an ancient, unconscious programming, a drive to reunite the scattered pieces of the cosmic puzzle. The Krill, initially horrified by this revelation, humans as unwitting keys to unlocking possibly dangerous, forgotten galaxies, came to understand the profound implications. It wasn't about conquest, it was about restoration. It was about bringing light back to places lost in the shadows of time. The final scene unfolds not on a battlefield, but in a vast, serene space, the combined consciousnesses of the Krill High Council and the entirety of humanity intertwined. They are not warlords, not conquerors, but cartographers of lost worlds, their thoughts painting the cosmic canvas with the shimmering colors of forgotten stars. Rostova, no longer just a captain, but a nexus point for the collective human unconscious, smiles knowingly. The footage the Krill initially feared, the images of Warship 17 breaching their defenses, now plays in their minds in a completely different light. It wasn't an act of aggression, but a homecoming. A silent, ancient promise fulfilled. The warship wasn't a weapon, but a beacon, guiding them all towards a future far grander, far more terrifying, and far more beautiful than they could have ever conceived. The journey had just begun.